All right, fans of music, welcome back. It is Dave, the Real Music Observer, observing real music in real time for real people just like you right there, and just like me right here. Fleetwood Mac, I've been talking about them lately, and I really believe that Fleetwood Mac has become Stevie Nicks' band. Based on what happened with Lindsey Buckingham, based on the recent hiring of Mike Campbell, and to some degree Neil Finn, but especially Mike Campbell, one would have to conclude that, Stevie is the power player in this group. I think when Tom Petty passed away last year, and I know Stevie Nicks was heartbroken and really took it hard, I think this is a way for her to kind of, I don't know, reconcile or pay tribute to Tom Petty by bringing Mike Campbell aboard. Now, yes, Mike Campbell, as stated on this channel, is a phenomenal guitar player. His style, though, is really a lot different than Lindsey Buckingham's style. In fact, I don't know any guitar player that plays like Lindsey Buckingham. And I'm talking about uniqueness, I'm not talking about skill level. I think both of these guys are very highly skilled guitarists, but what Lindsey Buckingham had was a very unique sound to both his electric and acoustic playing, especially his acoustic playing, I think, is really on its own as far as identifiability. You hear that and you go, yep, that's Lindsey Buckingham. And people relate, like the Buckingham McVie album from last year and how that sounded like things from the past. People are able to connect the sound. I mean, Lindsey brought a certain sound to the band. But Stevie Nicks had a much more powerful impact as far as her solo career goes, and also just her presence in the group. I think she tends to kind of suck the air out of the room when she walks in. I think she's always been the center of attention for quite a long time. And this was a calculation both by Mick Fleetwood and Stevie Nicks that the main draws in the group were going to be Stevie and Christine, and then Lindsey. And they've done it before, obviously, without Lindsey in the late 1980s and early 90s. And I think their calculation was that they could do it again, do kind of an Eagles model. You replace one with two. Irving Azoff manages both of those bands, so you can see that the strategy worked very well for the Eagles, even though yours truly was very skeptical. However, I think when you had, a sibling, you had the younger, the actual son of Glenn Frey replacing his dad, you get a ton of sentimental value there. And then you have Vince Gill, which, again, Vince Gill, country rock, this very, accomplished and respected musician. Those two things, and then you try to equate, say, Neil Finn and Mike Campbell. While there's some similarities, Neil Finn, I think, is the guy who's really going to hurt the operation for Fleetwood Mac as far as vocal skills and as far as bringing that passion and that raw emotion and energy that Lindsey Buckingham used to bring to the group before he was dismissed. But the reason he was dismissed, I believe, is that this is really more or less the Stevie Nicks band, and there are other players in the band. I think they would be kind of silly, too, without Lindsey in the group right now, to do a set list that is heavily oriented toward the music that Lindsey used to play. I think it's going to be heavy on Stevie Nicks material. I think you might hear things like Stop Dragging My Heart Around. I think it's going to be an interesting transition to see if fans are going to just forget about this, or if fans are going to do what they did with the Eagles and just, it's a cultural event, it's Fleetwood Mac, let's go see them. They've got the name. Lindsey Buckingham, of course, is never going to be able to have the name of the group for himself. I don't think that would be fair, but then again, what he brought to the table was just, it was intangible. It was stuff that was not only musical, but it had all of this history and all this emotion, all this drama attached to it. And without him being there, I think it becomes very milk toast and not quite where it could be. I know it's happened before, and the band survived through that, but that wasn't really the band's biggest time frame. It was always Lindsey, whether it's Rumors or Tango in the Night or Mirage. Lindsey Buckingham, the creative force that will sorely be missed. All right, done. Be back soon. See you then.